Dang, I gotta get these things replaced. Dry rotted like crazy. Good thing I ordered tires. Because man, oh man, those are looking terrible. It's almost as if God was trying to send me a message. Oh. So welcome to Throttle Hobby. My name is Seabass, and we're going to be doing 4 tires on this Dodge Challenger today. This one's already flat, which is why I ordered tires at the shop anyway. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to go grab my compressor, hopefully air this up, and drive this as quick as the shop as possible so we can change out the tires.
Got him!
So airing up the tire is not going to work because as I was airing it up, I found out that there's a hole in it. So we're going to have to get the spare tire, take this one out and put the spare tire on, and then go to the shop. All right, so the spare is on. Let's get this thing to the shop as slowly as possible so none of the other tires have problems, and put these new tires on. Oh boy, this is scaring the absolute hell out of me because I just realized if I get another one of those tires popped in the sidewall, I only have one spare. So I'm trying to take as much back roads as I possibly can, drive as slow as I can with as minimal amount of turns as possible. Hopefully you guys will see me at the shop.
Eventually.
And somehow we've made it. So let's get this thing in and on the lift, take these tires off, put the spare back, and put some new shoes on this bad boy. So now that we're in, here's a little bonus video I'm gonna try real quick. Usually I have to put the key in like this, and then I'll start the car. But I used to have a button there, which is actually right here. And I'm thinking since I can start the key with that, something inside this button must not be working properly anymore. So I bought a replacement. Let's see right now if this replacement will work. So here's the new button. We're just gonna put it in like this. Once we line it up, we're just gonna press. Okay, and like that. Press. Okay, clicks in. Now, let's see if I can start it by pressing the button. Beautiful! That's what I like to call bonus content. So, we're in, but first I want to talk to you guys about tires. Now, we are a tire shop, and the tires that I got are Prinks, which if you see any tire that has a green label, like that one, up there, a couple there, there. Those are the ones I pretty much got because they were decently priced and they're not half bad. We sell a lot of them. Now, I want to teach you guys about the numbers. So when you walk into a tire shop, you kind of understand what you're getting and you kind of understand more about what the tire is. Now, obviously, first thing we want to do, I know by heart that car is a 245, 45, 20. So we have 245, 45, 20. That's good. So we have the correct tire size, sorry. So the next thing I want to teach you guys is about these numbers right here and what do they mean. Numbers here, the first set, 245, is the actual width of the whole tire from here to here in millimeters. That's what that is. Now, the 45 is called an aspect ratio, and that goes from pretty much here to about halfway of the tire, and that tells us that 45% of the tire, 1 point here to half, and it says that that is half of the space of the 245. Now, 20, very easy, that is the rim size. That is the whole thing here. Now that you understand these 3 numbers, 1, 2, 3, these, you know what kind of tire size you have and everything else. Now, the other numbers I want to teach you guys about that a lot of people don't know is your tire has a speed rating. So mine is a 103Y. That just means in tire talk that whatever the speed you can go, that it's rated to whatever the number is in the book. Now, there's one more number I want to teach you guys about. It's very important, and that is DOT, or date of birth of tire, is basically what I like to call it. But basically, you're gonna go all the way over here, and you're gonna see 10 of 22. So the 10th week of 2022, these tires were made. Now, apart from also that, one thing you want to do is each tire is a little bit different. The ones I actually have on are rotational, which means on the tire they'll have a line that tells you this tire goes this way or this tire goes that way depending on how you flip them. So basically for rotational, you want to do 2 going clockwise and 2 going counterclockwise. Clockwise are for the right side, counter are for the left. These are a little bit different because all these basically have is, let me see if I can find it. It'll say in big letters, outside. So you want to face this part of the tire when you take it off the rim, outside facing you. So apart from that, outside, inside, a lot easier. And then most tires that you get don't have anything, doesn't matter which way you flip them on. Now, I've heard a lot of people say if they put inside tires facing outwards and they get a weird hum. With rotationals, you definitely want to go the right way, but that's basically how this is. So that's pretty much tires. All right, now that we got all of them off, first thing we're gonna do is get into the valve with this core remover tool. We're gonna take the valves out so all the air comes out of all of them. Next, we're gonna de-weight them. Now there's tons of ways to do this. A lot of people like to take the inside sticky weights, one right there. Like to take the inside sticky weights out. Some people just do the outside, the static, and leave the sticky ones in. There's tons of ways to do this, but just to keep it simple, we're just gonna remove the outside because on the balancing machine, we're gonna set it to static, just the one weight. So you can grab a tool specifically designed for this. You could use a screwdriver, wedge it in there, pop them off, however you want to do it. And we'll just take them off. Just like that. We'll do it to the rest of them. And also, minder, I know I'm doing this on like, you know, because I have a shop and, you know, I got all the machines. But if you're fortunate enough to do this or have a friend or somebody that will let you do this, this video is going to help you do this right. So the next thing we want to do is lay it up around the machine and use a spoon to get in between the rim and the bead. Now for these, especially with sensors, no sensors, I always like to keep the sensor part at least a quarter away from where I'm braking. So here's a good spot. On the other end, opposite the spoon would be a good spot, and the top. Same goes for the back when you flip them around. The only time you wouldn't do this is if you had a Ford and you had band sensors, but that's for another time. So now that we've made a little gap in between that and the rim, we'll flip it over, and we're constantly going to keep making sure that that sensor is always a quarter away from the spoon. You don't want to break them because they're about $100 to get and about another couple bucks to reprogram, so try to save them. Now that we got the outside completely undone on the other side, let's put the tire up on the machine and clamp it down. Good. Next, what we're going to do is let the machine do the work for us. So this part's still not broken, but we're not going to worry about that. So we're going to set the plastic head to the actual tire, lock it in. Now it sits here on the rim. We're going to go that extra step, turn the dial, and as we turn the dial, you can see that it will slowly push this away from the tire. This prevents it from scratching. And now, let the machine do the work by hitting the pedal and having it brake the rest of the tire. Perfect. Now, we always want to stop with the sensor just before the front part of here. That's because we're about to put a wedge in here and pop this over. And this is the pretty much the census of how you do any tire with any sensor. Except, once again, Ford with band sensors. So, grab our wedge, put it in between here and the tire. As we can see, because we broke the other edges, they go down to give us leverage to pull this up and over. Okay. Put it on, hit the pedal, and off it comes. Oh, give it a little help. Cool. Same routine, valve there. We're gonna dip the whole tire down this time. And as we see the bottom down there, We're going to stick the wedge all the way at the bottom, clip it, hold the wedge up here, bring the tire up with us. And a lot of times they get stuck, so you could also leverage the tire on the other side. And then what you do is you pull over, just like we did in the beginning, but now towards the back side. And we step, making sure the sensor's in the right spot. And off it comes. Now that the old tire is off and out of the way, what I like to do is inspect the rim itself. The tires, the new ones, are going to be sitting right in between where the top part and the bottom part meet. So you want to make sure it's clean. So I'm going to grab a whiz wheel and whiz top and bottom to make sure that we have a perfect seal. So now that we hit it with the whiz wheel and we know that it's smooth as butt cheeks, both upper and lower side, we're going to get the tire. We're going to find out outside. That's going to be facing up towards us. Now we're going to have the actual sensor opposite towards where the plastic head sits. So the plastic head sits there. Tire machine or tire sensor is on the other side. This prevents it from actually snapping off when you put the tire on. So let's grab our lube here, because we might as well get this thing on very nicely. Go around the edges, just like that. And then just for extra, I like to get in between here, just so it slides on with extra ease. Same thing the other side. And the same thing. Now that it's lubed up, we're going to take the tire, put it on the rim like this, set the head inside so it's sitting pretty. What we're going to do is rotate this tire to the point where that headpiece goes over the first part of rubber. Something like that. And then we're going to just push it on by hand so the machine doesn't have to do as much work. Just like this. You can see the sensor sitting there nice and pretty, opposite side of the arm, and slowly tap it on. That's one side on. So now we're going to set the sensor back across to make sure that it's just opposite this arm. And now comes the part where we might need a little bit of help, but no worries, because we have to keep this underneath that front side of the lip. But this machine comes with a hydraulic arm that we could just use to our advantage, because if you're doing tires every single day, you might as well let the machine do most of the work. It's going to press down for us, and now as we move the tire, it'll go on the plastic head. And as it gets tight, we're going to release this and go up a little bit. It's going to adjust a little bit more, adjust, all the way off and on. Now we can move this over to here, push the arm out of the way, and get this one off and out. Next, we're going to grab the air gun that's attached to the machine via that pedal, attach it to the valve, and air it up. Some tires you have to give a little negotiation, some tires you have to fire air into there, but these always go on very nice and easy. And I know with this car, the PSI is going to be the 35. So that's where we're going to keep going until it gets to 35. Once we get to 35, we're going to put the core back in with the core tool so the air can stay in there. Beautiful. And now we can adjust it to 35. And that is on the money. So, put the cap on, and it's off to balancing. So, now that we're at balancing, what we're going to do is punch the center cap off using the back side of a hammer. Just like that. Grab the cap, put it off to the side, load the tire on to the spindle. Beautiful. Try to find the right cap, which in this one I believe is the smallest one. And then we're going to grab the tightener and tighten it down. Now that it's nice and tightened, we're going to set the settings. So with this machine, we have one of two settings that we generally use. There's other ones here, but this is the two that we mainly use. So right now it's on static, green dot, so it's only going to want to measure one side, the outside. The other one that we use is just, as we like to call it, the normal, which is the two green dots. So that would be hammer-ons or stickies on this one and on this one. But for right now, we're going to go back to static. Now, remember, I told you guys that the three numbers we had right here, we're going to go by the last one, the rim size, which will be a 20. So what we want to do is grab the first measuring stick and put it in between the lip of the tire like this and get it to say 20. When it beeps, that's good. Now we're going to get the outside. Once again, same spot as far as we can on the tire. It's 20. It'll beep. Good. Now the machine is set for these tires. So for the rest of these, I don't have to do that again. It's set. So now we spin. And it's telling us that it needs 2 ounces. So we can go over here, and these, since it's an American car, are going to be aluminum with the aluminum rims. We don't have them here, so we can go over here. We also don't have them here. Dang it, gotta order them. We'll do 150 for right now. We're gonna find the green spot as we turn the tire. It's gonna load us up to green. And once you get to green, that means that this little nub wants the weight to be right here. So that's where we're gonna hammer it on. So of course, because we were short, it's gonna ask for 75. So we can look at our bin here of weights, 75. And this should be the last one. Now we're gonna find out where the green is again, just by spinning the tire. Beautiful, right there. And that is right next to our existing weight that we have. So we'll put that right there. Whoops. And now it's saying 0, 0, which is perfect balance. This tire is ready to go on to that car. So the last thing I like to do is I play a little game, and that's because this one was 2 ounces. Now some of these might be less, some of them might be more. Some of them you might put on the machine and they just say 0, 0, they're ready to go. So, since this is the first tire I did, I'm gonna put this one all the way to the far side of the car, back there, right rear, because right now this is the worst of the bunch. Now, I could switch these over later on once the other tires get balanced, and I wanna put the least amount of weight onto the front right there where the driver sits. Second there, third, fourth, so on. So, I'm gonna get these started, and I'll show you guys the car with the tires on them. Like, just to put it in perspective, this was the tire that was flat. I mean, like, and there's the hole, right? Boop, put your finger in, finger out, that kind of stuff. But this tire, like, look at this one. This one was the one that got me here. Dear God. Like, what? What is that? Always make sure to check your tires. You do not want this going out when you're going, like, 80. And with that, now we have the new tires installed. A lot less crinkly, a lot more new, a lot less landmine, but all's good. So that's it. That's how pretty much you put on tires if you're lucky enough to have a machine, or you're gonna get a machine, or you're starting a shop, or you're just rich. So this video will help you put on tires. With that, this is me signing off. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next Throttle Hobby video. Peace. Peace.